to Bloom is the album's title track. It represents kind of breaking out of this dark place you've kept yourself in for so long and finally blooming into the flower you were always meant to be. It's kind of the overall theme, I think, of the album. For some reason, growing up, all the other kids were always one or two steps ahead of me, like with trends, what was cool to watch or to listen to. And I still feel that way sometimes, which I guess is why this song resonates with me so much. It's just a reminder to myself and others that it's okay to be moving at your own pace, and it's never too late to bloom. The music video was really fun to shoot for this, but I must have gone swimming in a patch of poison ivy because I got a really brutal case of it as a result. The things we do for art, am I right?
I've waited for this all my life. It's happening, I can feel it. The fire burning deep inside. I can feel it in my roots. It's never too late to bloom.
Fairy Tales is a really special song for me. Not only was it written as my husband and I were expecting our twins in 2021, it was actually our nursery's theme, but growing up I always loved reading and listening to fairy tales. I have dozens of them on VHS and cassette tape somewhere. It's always been important for me to kind of keep my childlike spirit close and try not to take life too seriously and just to remember to have fun. And that's a quality I hope to instill in my kids as well. I wrote this song with a college friend and fellow fairy tale fanatic, Lizzie Allen. It's the first of 3 collaborations on the album and features an incredible Disney-inspired rap by Lizzie that brings this song to a whole nother level. It, addresses the fairy tale faux pas that aren't so politically correct anymore, like why'd the prince kiss Sleeping Beauty without her permission? You'll have to listen to it and check it out. It's a good one.
Do you believe in fairy tales? Do you believe that dreams come true? Do you believe in fairy tales? Do you believe in happy endings? Do you believe?
So I was in a deep sleep, I didn't give him permission to put a kiss on me, why did he make me his mission?
Execute the vision is a mantra I've lived by for a while now, almost ever since I moved to New York City 10 years ago. This song really gets the endorphins flowing. It's about realizing that you're stronger than you ever thought you were and to go out and turn your dreams into reality. That's the hardest thing for an artist to do, really. With all the ideas and thoughts constantly jumbling around in our heads, it's turning them into something real. That's the true challenge, I think. Not just dreaming someday, but taking that action to get there. Ticking Time Bomb was a really interesting song to write. It kind of alludes to a volatile time in my life where I was on a path to self-destruct at literally any minute. I had just gotten out of a long-term relationship, moved back home, and jumped into another one almost right away. Long story short, lines were crossed, mutual respect and trust went out the door, and by the time the damage had been done, it was just too late to reconcile. So it was a pretty ugly ending to something that could have been really beautiful in theory if I'd been in an overall better place. So in the song, I'm actually the ticking time bomb, and a lot of the lyrics are actually words from letters we exchanged with one another nearly 10 years post-breakup. Finally kind of finding that closure. Like I said, it was really interesting, really interesting to write, and for me, it was really healing.
Love at first sight, or an explosive diva.
Free Fallin' was a really, really fun song to make on this album, both sonically and visually. I love that it comes after Execute the Vision on the track list, because Execute the Vision kind of represents finding that dream and realizing that you want to go for it. And Free Fallin' kind of takes us on that journey of taking that leap of faith, if you will. But the story within Free Fallin' isn't necessarily a happy one. It kind of mirrors one of constant rejection and of failure, a feeling many of us are way too familiar with in this industry. You know, we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, laying all of our cards on the table, trying to convince someone with power that we are worthy of the job, of the role, of the whatever, just to wind up right back where we started. So, with the second collaboration on the album, I teamed up with one of my best friends and music impressionist, Nathaniel Hall, to help me tell this story about all the dreamers who maybe haven't quite made it yet, but are in limbo, so to say, trying to put those missing pieces together. It's a song about resilience, determination, and finding your faith, trusting in what you can't see, believing that the universe will guide you towards your destiny. It was really fun to make, and we released it right around Halloween, so it's got some witchy vibes, and the makeup and the whole storyline is really fun.
This time can't deal with the pressure. Now I know it's now or never. And we're gonna get away with it all.
Up in Smoke is definitely the sexy song on the album. It kind of speaks to all the things that try to distract us and throw us off course, whether it be sex, drugs, temptation in whatever form. In the song I say, my good intentions up in smoke, your sweet sativa has a hold. My good intentions up in smoke, not gonna lose control, not gonna take you home. So it's kind of this internal battle as to where to draw the line, because let me tell you, actions have consequences. But you don't have to not communicate with another human being just because you're in a relationship, right? It's natural to find people interesting, not threatening, unless that relationship is rocky, and that might be another story. Maybe one similar to Ticking Time Bomb. Anyways, the lyrics here and the music video tell a story about being approached by someone at a bar while being in a relationship, and kind of how to, or how not to, depending on how you look at it, maneuver the situation. Filming this music video was a huge highlight of making this album. It was my first time having choreography and professional dancers in a video, so it took a lot of work and rehearsals, and seeing it kind of come together was really special. Plus, I got to work with supermodel and longtime friend Rudy Bundini. When I was dreaming up the concept for this video, I immediately thought of him to play my co-star, the sort of love interest. So I reached out and he said yes. Check out the music video on YouTube and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Late to Bloom, the album, coming September 29th. Signing off for now. Stay Crazy was the first song I ever recorded in studio. Stay Crazy is my baby, my firstborn. It's where this whole crazy journey began. I think it was originally called Traitor and was going to be very medieval and Game of Thronesy, which doesn't necessarily count that out for a future track, but I wound up going a little deeper, thinking this was going to be my one and only. So I started writing about the highs and lows associated with depression and anxiety, but went a step further and studied the highs and lows of bipolar disorder, the manic and the depressive sides. Now, I have never been formally diagnosed as bipolar, but I do believe it's all kind of on the spectrum, sexuality and mental health, but some of us experience the highs and lows more intensely or more deeply than others. So I wrote the first verse based on a severe depressive state. I said, I can't move, can't get out of bed, totally numb, soaked in sweat. I can't think, God, get out of my head, feeling empty. And the second verse reflects a more manic, on top of the world feeling. I say, I'm all in, can't lose this bet, totally high, sleep deprived, 0 to 60 with no in between, mind is racing. And it basically starts as a plea to have somebody kind of swoop in and save me from the crazy. But by the end of the song, I've learned to accept my crazy, and I'm actually celebrating it. So it's a story of finding self-love and acceptance within your mental health as well. We had a whole plan for a music video for this one, but COVID got in the way, of course, and We never revisited the idea, sadly. Maybe someday. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, you guys. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content. And Late to Bloom, the album, is coming September 29th. Pre-order now. This World and the Next was the last song I recorded for this album. I wanted to have an ode to my hubby on this record, so I had him choose the influence, and then I just sort of ran with it. Now, my husband is an EDM junkie. He loves heavy beats and DJ remixed dance tracks, so when Electropoint sent me the instrumental, I shut my eyes and listened to it on repeat, which is a huge part of my process, actually. I used to put headphones in and fall asleep listening to the track on repeat, so I'd subliminally get ideas in my sleep, but now I have kids and have to be able to hear the monitor. Anyway, the more I listened to this song, I just kept hearing the end of the world. It's that crazy. So how do I take a pending apocalypse and put a love twist on it? Well, you'll just have to listen to the album when it comes out, September 29th, to find out. But I will tell you, I did use some of our actual vows as lyrics, and the pre-chorus is full of little Easter eggs about my take on the world ending. What do I say? Flash floods come to cleanse the crust, or a plague to take the last of us. Nuclear war, a breach of trust. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. So my mom's hometown in Rapid City, South Dakota, actually was devastated by a flash flood in 1972, one of the deadliest in history, in U.S. history. It injured 3,000 people, sadly took 238 lives, my grandfather and 2 uncles among them. Google it, it's crazy. Imagine your town being flooded by a wall of water at midnight after a dam breaks due to an onslaught of heavy rain. I can't. The Last of Us is one of my favorite TV shows based off of a zombie apocalypse video game, which I plan to play soon. Anyways, I could decipher my lyrics for you all day long, but maybe I'll leave some of it up for you to do on your own. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, you guys. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content like this. Signing off for now. Late to Bloom, the album, coming to you September 29th. Pre-order now. Link in bio.
Boys in makeup, fashion designer, so Gucci guilty, right?
Cringe is like the you song on the album. I hate that word. Cringe, not I love the word. But the story behind this one stems from someone who used to be very close to me, reached out to me to specifically let me know that this musical endeavor that I've embarked on just really makes them cringe. Now, I certainly hope that's not the popular opinion because I've poured my heart and soul into these songs. But it kind of lit a fire under me to write this kind of pride anthem, encouraging relentless self-expression. Lots of Easter eggs in here, if you know, you know. But one of my best friends and jazz singer, EJ Garland's, teamed up with me on this final collab on the album to address all the haters and closed-minded people out there who just don't care to try to understand those of us who may be a little different from them. We had a lot of fun making this song with all kinds of Devil Wears Prada references. Yeah, that's all. That's all.
Soldier, now the way I express myself makes you cringe. Then the idea of backing down feels like a sin. Oh, I remember when we were kids, holding hands and making plans, you never cringe. The way I express myself makes you cringe.
All right, track 10, Equality. This song is a lyrical protest that paints a picture of the events that took place back in 2020, from COVID to Black Lives Matter. Well, racial inequality has been taking place for decades. Now we are just able to expose it with camera phones. But I was actually away for a girlfriend's bachelorette party, kind of off the grid, when all the riots started and all the protests for Black Lives Matter began. And when we got back to New York City, it was like a war zone. There were thousands of people marching the streets, stores boarded up, graffiti everywhere, trash cans on fire. There was obviously something super terrifying about this, about seeing it so close, but there was something super beautiful about it at the same time, just seeing everyone kind of come together for this unified cause, making their voices heard, saying, we will not tolerate this anymore. I had these masks made to kind of commemorate the time and the song. I used the rainbow smoke to kind of be all inclusive and the Black Lives Matter fist. So I felt the need to write about this. This song has lots of layers. This is probably the fastest song I've ever written. I think I was in studio 2 weeks after receiving the instrumental, and some people will tell you I should have spent more time on it, but it's fine. I allude to COVID several times, but I say, lately, you haven't seen me, but if you can hear me, because we weren't able to see each other face to face for so long. And then the song kind of morphs into this release of pent-up energy. I say, let it all out, leave nothing inside. Shouting in the streets, we can go all night. Take the first step, it'll be all right. There's something in the air, no, they can't breathe. A whole lot of hate and brutality. They won't let up till we're all free. Equality. And with each chorus, I switch the pronouns between I, we, and they, just so everyone can be included in feeling oppressed, I guess. But obviously, this is around the time when George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, God rest their souls, were taken from us. So the inability to breathe alludes to not only COVID, but George Floyd's unfortunate encounter with the police. I'm really proud of the bridge in this song. I took protests or chants from equality marches over the past few decades and threw them into this all-encompassing, protest for equality. So you'll have to give it a listen. I'm super proud of this song. I'll leave the rest up for you to decipher.
Keep pushing on and
Pass the Baton is the 11th and final track on this album. It's an upbeat EDM track with tropical and sunny vibes, great for driving with the top down or going for a nice run. The concept from this song actually stems from the chapter in my life when I was a very avid and competitive track and cross-country runner. This is me, back in the day, can you see? Aw, I remember him. I think I was in 5th grade when I found out that running was my sport. My first official mile ever was just over 7 minutes, and my fastest ever was 4 minutes and 40 seconds. Not too shabby, huh? My junior year of high school, both the guys and the girls cross-country teams won the state championship, and we were invited to compete in the Nike Team Nationals competition in Portland, Oregon. This was back in 2007, which puts a date on me, but it was a wild ride, and those are memories that I'm gonna cherish forever, which is why I wanted to write about it. The music video for this one, I'm really excited about. It brings lots of nostalgia. We took footage from VHS tapes of me and my family growing up and kind of wove it in with footage of me and my husband with our twins. So it's really fun to watch and a great way to get to know me better. I had a few of these made, actually, some batons to kind of remember and use as props for the video. But this song is not only an ode to my past as a runner, it symbolizes my future as well, as a dad. Passing the baton happens in a relay race, yes, but it also happens in life, with family and generations. I'm passing the baton to my kids, just like my parents are to me, and their parents did to them, building a legacy to leave behind. And that's what I love about this album and this music. For me, this is part of my legacy. It's gonna live longer than me. It will entertain the ears of generations to come, God willing. You can pre-order the album now on iamthomascole.com. I had a lot of fun making this music. I'm already working on TC2. I really appreciate all of your support. So thanks for pre-ordering, thanks for listening, and there's lots more to come. So stay tuned.
you